Hello everyone, I am Munib Ahmed and this is my cost accounting presentation. In this video, we'll be covering the first topic, which is activity-based costing. Well, first of all, what is activity-based costing? Activity-based costing is a modern costing methodology designed to provide more precise cost allocation by linking costs and the cost drivers. Like there may be activities such as labor hours, machine hours, the cost of goods, anything. Unlike traditional costing methods which allocate overheads based on a single factor, such as labor hour or machine hours, ABC identifies multiple cost drivers that reflect on the actual use of the resources. These methods ensure that the costs are assigned based on activities required to produce a specific good or for delivering a specific service that is being provided by the organization. This provides a very clearer and precise understanding of where the resources are being consumed and how we can use them in a better way. Well, now we'll talk about the key components of activity-based costing. Well, first key component is activities. Activities are tasks and that are cost-intensive processes. These processes consume up the resources. For example, setting up machinery, inspection, packaging, customer support. Well, these activities form up the basis and the foundation of activity-based costing, as the costs are traced up back to these functions. Well, then comes cost drivers. Cost drivers are the factors that determine the amount of cost incurred during an activity. For example, including the number of production runs, the number of inspection, or the volume of transactions. Identifying the right cost drivers is critical to allocate the right amount of costs. Well, then comes cost drivers. Then comes cost pools. Cost pools are the collection associated with the costs, such as all costs related to machine maintenance could be grouped in a single pool that would be named as machine maintenance cost pool. Similarly, it can be done for all the all the costs. Then comes resources are all the inputs that are required for activities such as labor, material, utilities, and everything. Then comes allocation. Allocation uh, is the cost of productivity, how each of the cost pool are allocated to products, services, or the consumer behavior. Well, then we talk about the steps included in activity-based costing. Well, first of all, the first step is identifying the activities. We start off by listing activities involved in the production process or the service delivery process by the organization. Well, each activity should represent a significant part of resource consumption. Well, then we assign expenses for the activities. We break down the cost into cost pools, such as cost related to machine maintenance or machine setup are allocated to their respective cost pools. Well, then we determine the cost drivers. We select the cost drivers relatively according to the activity and its costs. For instance, the number of production batches may drive into machine cost setups. Then we calculate the activity rates. The activity rates are calculated by dividing the total cost of each pool by the total volume of its cost driver. That gives us the total rate of activity. Then lastly, we assign cost through the products or services. Based on how much each activity is used, assigning charges on items that are using the activity rates. Well, now we'll talk about the benefits of activity-based costing. Uh, One benefit of activity-based costing is increased cost accuracy. ABC assigns cost more precisely by focusing on specific activities and the drivers, offering a better understanding and the true costs that are being occurred. Well, it also ensures improved decision making by highlighting high cost activities. Managers can identify inefficiencies and smoothen the operations and make informed decisions about pricing and outsourcing and the process designing. Well, it also gets better profitability analysis. It helps provide control costs of the resources. It helps reduce the waste and improve efficiency. Well, lastly, it also facilitates with strategic planning, allows business to concentrate on activities that are more valuable and decrease activities that are not much valuable and are uh, causing loss to business. Well, now we'll talk about some limitations of activity-based costing. First of all, it's complex. Implementing activity-based costing requires a very detailed amount of data collection, and that can be resource intensive, that can consume up the resources of a business and also consume maybe very time consuming. Well, then comes implementation costs. Activity based costing can be very expensive for a small business because they do not have much budget to play with. So as activity based costing requires a detailed data collection and analysis, also requires maintenance, ongoing maintenance, that to keep it implemented and keep track of the resources. Well, it is that makes it not, unsuitable for the small firms because the processes are very small and the overheads are already very low, so they can be tracked easily in the small firms. Well, talking about the applications of activity-based costing. Activity-based costing is widely used in the industries where overheads cost constitute a significant amount of total costs. Well, talking about the manufacturing industries, uh, activity-based costing helps assign cost to products based on the production complexity. Well, then similarly in the healthcare business, activity-based costing helps us track costs of treatments and the patient care. Well, in general, activity-based costing is effective in environments with diverse productivity lines and complex production processes where the traditional costing can lead to distortions. Activity-based costing can help determine the costs and help allocate resources effectively and efficiently. Well, now we'll take a look at a practical example of activity-based costing in a logistic company. Well, a logistic company offers express and standard delivery services uh, to its consumers. It wants to understand the cost differences between these services. First of all, we'll do the activity analysis. Some activity is that a logistic company would have, maybe sorting the packages, loading the trucks, delivering to the driving to the delivery locations, tracking shipments, and at the end customers services. Well, then we talk about the cost drivers. Cost drivers, we try to identify where the costs are being incurred. Well, the for logistic companies, the cost may be number of packages sorted, the weight and the volume of the packages, miles driven to the delivery location, which defines the fuel costs, then number of shipment tracked. Then we talk about the applications, how activity-based costing is being applied in here. Well, after the cost analysis, it reveals that the express delivery incurs higher cost due to more frequent packages sorting, more deliveries, specialized vehicles. This costing method uh, provides the company costs. so it can justify the premium charges for the express delivery and explore options for the efficiency in standard delivery.